Hi everyone, it's Cheryl Wright from Ideas for Card Making, and I'm here today for Couture Creations, and I'm going to make a fairly quick baby card today. So I've pulled a few bits and pieces together. I'm not positive what I'm going to do. I've sort of planned it in my head, but we'll see how it comes out. So what I'm going to use is a couple of these sets from the Dazzlia set, which is fairly new. These are just a few that I've got. I haven't used any of them yet, and what I'm doing today is I'm challenging you to use a product that you haven't used before from Couture Creations, or one that you've used but not very much. So this video is actually for a challenge that Couture Creations are releasing. This is going to be for World Card Making Day on the 5th of October, and we'd like you to come along to our Facebook page and upload your creations. So this is my contribution, and we'll see how we go. Okay, so what I'm using today, I'll put these ones aside. What I'm using today is the Best Wishes cut foil and emboss. Sorry, I'll start that again. Cut foil and emboss die set. And also, this is the Horse and Pacifier cut foil and embossed die set, and they're both from the Dazzlia. I think you can see that there, the Dazzlia sets. Okay, so I've got my Go Press and Foil machine warming up, and it's just clicked over to the green. Now, the only one I'm actually going to foil is the Best Wishes. At least that's my plan, so we'll see how that goes. As you can see, these are brand new. I have not used these before. They have not been out of the packets. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock, and I'll just cut this in half, which is 4 1/8. So cut that in half. Now I'm going to foil this. I think I'll do it in blue. Excuse me. The card shop that I supply, sorry, the flower shop that I supply with cards has asked for some baby cards. So this is the perfect time for me to do this. Excuse me. It is spring here, and I always get the coughs when it is spring. I know it's a weird way to have hay fever, but that's it. I'll just cut that off a bit. Now, I don't know if you've used the cut foil and embossed dies. I'll just pull that off for a minute. That's just gone green. So we use the, where's my tweezers? I've got my tweezers here, they're hiding. I just had them a second ago, there they are. This is the heavy plate, as you can see. I'll just see if I can show you. Oops, sorry, a bit noisy. There's the two different plates. Can you see one's really thick? The thin one is just like a shim. The thicker one is to use with your cut foil and emboss dies. So I'll put the die on there. I'll put my foil face down, and then I'll put the cardstock over the top. Now, I'm going to put that back because I think that's going to have cooled down a little bit. So I'll just leave that on there for a second. What I'm going to do with the other piece of the cardstock, I'm going to emboss with this folder. Now this actually came with some other bits and pieces with my Go Power and Emboss machine, and this is the first time I've used this one too, so I'm just going to put that in there. I will get my, to emboss, I need the base plate, my embossing mat, then the embossing folder goes in there, and the B plate goes on top. And you can see how much I've used it. I've just about killed my plates because I use this nearly every day. So I'll just run that through. It's too big to come under the camera, so I'll just run that through. Okay, now that's embossed, and you can see that's embossed beautifully. Put that aside. I've got my other piece of cardstock here. Oh, that is ready again. Well, it's been ready for a while. I'll just run that through. I'll just open that. You can see that that's cut out beautifully. There it is there. I'll just put this aside out of the way. I'll just put that back on the platform. Now just wriggle this a bit and see if I can get it off. Here we go, it's coming. Alright, there you go. Absolutely perfectly foiled and cut. So I'm going to use that on the front. I'm going to cut out another piece with this left over, so I've got plenty there. I'll just pull that bit of foil off and get rid of that. What I want to do, and you've probably seen these before, but I've got a different colour. This is the Modern Essentials, and this one is the cut foil and embossed decorative nesting circular flourish frames. Okay, so what you get with that set is you get the 3 pieces. Mine are a different colour to what you get in the shops. Because I'm on the design team, I get the pro formas, so that's why they're that colour. Normally they come in the silver. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm not going to foil this one. I'm just going to put it directly through my Go Power and Emboss machine, and you know that means any die cutting machine that you can use these on. Doesn't have to be that one. Just get a bit of washi tape to hold that in place. Now that it's going to stay in the centre. That doesn't cut out the centre, but it'll cut out around there. So we'll just put that through, and this time I'll use. This time I use a different sandwich. Oops. Okay. So this time I'll use the A plate, the B plate. Put that on there, stick that back down there, and I'll put the C plate on top. Okay. I'll just run that through. The one thing I really wanted to tell you here is that you don't need to have a Go Press and Foil machine. Go Press and Foil machine. To be able to use any of these Go Foil and Emboss dies, because you can do them through your normal die cutting machine and you'll get this result. This is embossed. If you wanted, you could use distress inks or distress oxides or whatever you wanted to go around the edges. I might just do that. Very gently. I'm not going to do a lot, but you can see the colour, the pattern is coming out. That's just, I'm just trying to really just give it a little bit of a edge more than anything. I have done that just a little bit heavy there, but that's not too bad. Okay, let's just put that aside. I'm just going to get my scoreboard and score this bottom piece. It's 8 1/4, so I need to do that at 4 1/8. I'll just score that. That's all I need that for. Put that aside. Now that's the same size. I actually like my toppers just to be slightly smaller, so I'm just going to trim that off a bit. Doesn't need a huge amount. I mean, this is personal preference. This is just something that I like to do, that's all. And I'll probably need to, I'll just do the sides a little bit. Let me see, I'm one of those people that likes to just eyeball stuff. Okay, I think that's okay now. Get rid of that. Okay, so I'm just going to decide what I want to do with that. I might just put a little bit more. I don't want it heavy. I really don't want it heavy. Just put a bit more ink on that. I mean, as I said before, you can just leave that plain. You don't have to put colour on that. I just wanted it to stand out a bit more. But I'm really not happy with what I've done with it now. So I'm just going to go over and give it a bit more colour and let that pattern stand out a bit more. And that actually matches that colour really well. I'm not one that really plans ahead much, so you know my cards are usually very ad hoc, as you can see from this one. Just want to spread that a bit. I've just clumped that in a little bit there. Okay, I think that's okay now, and that's just broken china distress oxide. Okay, so I'm going to have that and that, and then these baby ones I'm going to spread around a bit. So I'll stick these down, get them on there. Could put some ribbon on that. I haven't got anything that matches perfectly, I don't think. And I like my colours to match. No, that's not close enough. Okay, so we'll leave the ribbon off that. I'll just put this down. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could actually put that up with some foam tape. But I'm not going to with this. Okay, this is the foam tape that I use, which is the Couture Creations one. It's really, really sticky. I'll just put that down. Now, if you wanted, I'm not going to, but if you wanted to, you could brush a little bit of colour on there to give it a bit more blue. I'm not going to do that. If I decide at the end that I'm going to, well, maybe I will, but I doubt it. Okay, I'm going to put a bit of foam tape on there, give that a bit of a lift, put that one in the centre. Well, this is really, really sticky, this one. It's a really strong foam tape, which I love. One thing I absolutely hate is when foam tape lets go, and this one just doesn't do that because it's just so strong. Okay, what have I done with my pick? Oh, here it is. Okay. Get these pieces off. Right, I'll get that on there. Make sure that's straight using those 2 points. And put that down. Alright, see how strong that is? You cannot lift that. Get rid of that rubbish. You could actually, if you wanted, that could be used. You could foil that, heat seal that onto a background. I'm not going to do that today, but that is an option that you can do with your negative pieces. I've got heaps of them put aside ready to do that. I might lift that up as well. Just give it a little bit more height. I think that'll be, I'll just put a tiny, tiny bit there at the end, just so that that doesn't collapse. But that's enough, I think. get rid of that bit of rubbish. You can see how sticky it is. It's sticking to me. Okay, we'll just put that in the centre there. Okay, nice and straight. Now we'll take these ones out. Now I'm not, as I said, I'm not going to foil these, but what I will do, I'm going to put them through the die cutting machine. If I feel after that I need a bit of colour, then I can do that. But these can go on like that. I think they'll be okay. Now I've got to find another piece of cardstock. Just put that aside, put those on there. Washi tape. I'll just get my trays ready, my plates. I'm just putting, now this is, as I said before, you just, if you haven't got a go press and foil machine, you can do this, or you can do what I've done, put some in the go press and foil machine and some through the die cutting machine. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'll get those off there, and I see they've cut right out and they're already off themselves. Okay, so get this out of the way. Right, that's the results. You can see I think you can see the impressions on those. Okay, now I think we need a little bit of colour on that, so let's get the brush back. I don't want too much on this. Well, it's not got any. Okay. Oh. I'm just going to put a little bit on there. I'm actually going to put it on, and I'm going to brush a bit off so I don't get too much on there. Just do it very gently this time, just to give it a bit of colour. Get a little bit more there, just so that it doesn't blend into that white background. Now, see, that's much better, much better. Okay, we'll get the pacifier, do the same thing. I think I might just have enough on that. Yep, that one I've got a bit more. Okay, put all that aside, get all this out of the way. I'll fix those up later. Okay, so let's see, what shall we do here? No, I think that one can go down there. I did think I might put one there, or one there, and then do them opposites, but they're not going to fit. So again, as I said, I just don't plan these things out. I have a brief idea of what I'm going to do, and that's it. Oh no, I should have lifted that up too. Oh, doesn't matter. I've put the glue on, but I can still put a bit of foam on that. You don't need to do that. I've done that because I was thinking that I would put that straight onto the card. I'll have to cut a bit off that. It's a bit too thick. Now I'm not going to be able to put it on the rocker because that's just too thin, and I don't think I could get it on there properly because of the roundness of it. Let's have a look. That's a little bit too far over. Move that in a bit more so it's not seen. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Okay, so we get that off. It doesn't want me to take it off, does it? Okay, got that. Put that one down there. Oh, that's stuck down there because I put the glue on before I knew I was going to put that on, the tape on. But that's all right. That looks fine. Let's see, shall we put that on? I think that one's okay flat. So we'll just put that down flat. I don't need too much on that, just enough to hold it down there. There we go, that's it, we're done. That card is finished. Didn't take very long at all. I hope you liked this creation, and I encourage you to go onto the Couture Creations Facebook page and join our challenge for October. This is our very first challenge. We just would like you to try using something you haven't used before from your Couture Creation stash, or if you haven't got anything you haven't used, pull out something that you haven't used very much. That's our challenge to you, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.